Well, hello and welcome. This is Hrafnfjall Hearthside's Hávamál discussion. This is the third installment, and we'll be starting with the 12th stanza. Hello and welcome. For those of you joining along, Hrafnfjall Hearthside's Hávamál discussion format, but you may notice something slightly different in that we're going to be displaying the Hávamál that Tom will be using.
Yep, instead of video tonight, because we may be having guests from our, how would you describe it, project at the moment? Kingdom of Hrafnfjall. Hrafnfjall.
Hrafnfjall, yes.
Because we changed the name recently, because we found out we misspelled it.
And welcome to those members joining from there. So, we are glad to see you. So, as usual, I will be going with the Pocket Hávamál, the Benjamin Thorpe translation.
And I will be going with the voluspa.org translation.
Which is what I should be displaying for you.
Yep. And I will be reading the Old Norse and then the English translation. I will warn people, as I do every single session, I am learning to pronounce it. I will mess up. If you want to comment on my pronunciation, feel free, because I need to learn.
And as usual, if you have any questions, by all means, jump right in. That's what we're here for.
Yep. We'll wait a couple of minutes for people to get settled. Say hello in the chat if you're here.
By all means, we'd like to know.
I'm reading the chat on my phone. Laura's got her chat up as well.
I do.
So, yep. So we'll give it till 5 minutes past, just to give it a round number. And then we'll begin.
So, for now, just stand by.
And for no... hello, Andrew.
Greetings.
And for no... we'll be going from stanza 12 this time.
Yes.
If you have any opinions, feel free to chip in, because as we said last session, you ask for an interpretation of any single stanza of the Hávamál in a room full of heathens, and you'll get a room full of 20 heathens, you'll get 40 responses.
Yep, know how that definitely goes.
Flipping it last week, wasn't it? Between us, we actually generated 6 different interpretations of the same stanza.
Oh yeah,
something like that.
It was something. So, give it one more minute, and then we'll go ahead and jump in with stanza 13.
Yep. Yes, I said the wrong stanza, I just realised.
No, we finished up with stanza 12 last time. So
finished on 12, yes. But I said starting with 12, so...
Oh, the dangers in drinking stanzas.
Of
course, I think this is going to be a good session. We've got some pretty famous ones going on.
I know what you should do as well. Grab your new Hávamál as well.
It's actually right in front of me. But with certain restrictions, I'm going to leave the tech rendition out of it at the moment.
Good point.
So, yeah. But I have the Pocket Hávamál, I'll repeat, by Benjamin Thorpe, that translation. And Tom, you're using...
voluspa.org, which is a trusted translation.
So... Andrew, if you wish to provide the translation, that'd be interesting. and I wouldn't want them to have any kind of issues with it here. So I think as long as we provide credit, wouldn't be a problem yet.
Let's say we've had our issues.
Yeah.
Okay, it's actually 6 minutes past, so
let's get going.
Moment. And so, stanza 13. Obinis grihitr, so ifre udrum frume, hon stele gedi guma, fesfugus fjordrum ek fjordtrader vak igadi gunlader. Overbear the bird of forgetfulness broods and steals the minds of men, and the heron's feathers fettered I lay, and in Gunloft's house was held.
Very interesting. And as we've noted, we do have different translations at times. The Benjamin Thorpe translation states, Oblivion's heron is called that Overdrink hovers. He steals the minds of men. With this bird's pinions, I was fettered in Gunlod's dwelling. So it sounds to me that these are directly words from himself.
Yes.
And he's obviously the heron here is it's a metaphor for when you get drunk, you get hazy, your mind is gone, you're forgetful.
Yeah, it's very simple. Booze makes you forgetful and a bit stupid.
And himself had gotten drunk in the house of this individual, or being Gunlod.
Gunlof.
I have Gunnlod. Gunlod.
On the English translation here, it's Gunlof, with the Old Norse Gunladar.
Interesting. So somebody thought they'd take it easy on those English speakers, it seems. So.
But yeah, this is essentially booze makes you hazy, forgetful.
Just a very colorful way.
Because of my tolerance, but there we go.
One day, my dear.
We need a hospital nearby if you're going to try that. Mo, any thoughts from... So just to note, we have a silent participant in our Discord chat in a moment.
We do, yes.
So you'll hear me asking him if he's got any thoughts. And also, Andrew, if you've got any thoughts.
All right. Really curious to know how that would differ from the translations, but as mentioned, we'll stick with the ones we got for now.
If you've got anything, Andrew, there we go. Okay. Give you a moment then.
Oh, cool.
I'm going to mute my mic a second because I need a drink.
Go figure. Technical difficulties. Music going?
Technical difficulties. Shh.
Excellent, Andrew. So what you got for us?
So, got up to go and get a drink, and realised I had cider.
Yes, you do.
I'm actually drinking on a Hearthside for once. Yeah.
Amusing, considering.
I don't normally.
Tisk tisk. Does this mean I should tease you about being a drunk? Or being drunk while we're reading these particular stanzas?
Be drunk. And hello, magician. And I won't start humming songs because we'll get copyright hit by YouTube.
Yes, we would. None of that now. So we're trying to see if Andrew can find a rendition he has here.
Mm-hmm.
And see how that may differ.
Aye. Would be an even different translation because
Let's go with, yeah.
due to the nature of the study of Old Norse, there is several translations for the same thing. Anyone else have any other comments while we're waiting? Yeah, so your study one, if it's not the TAC one, which one is it, Andrew? So we can give
Right, exactly.
the name. So thoughts on your differences and maybe some comments on the difference in translation? Just because typing out all three will be quite a bit of time for every single stanza, because we're going to go through about 5 or 6 separate stanzas here. Or if you can give us which the name and the author, then we can attribute properly. We're very, very big on that.
But for obvious reasons, including touchiness and technical difficulties, we'd rather stay away from various copies.
Mm-hmm. We won't go into reasoning here.
No, and if you'd like to know the message, get all of us that way.
I really do want to see it live, but I don't want to start a fight. So.
Right.
That's not your job.
Right, so if even I'm going, nah, we're good.
That's why I'm holding back.
Yeah.
Shame I've not got a decent mead. No, actually, good I've not got a decent mead, because then it would be actually.
Loosens thy tongue a little, does it now?
Tad.
I'll have to remember that. Anyway.
Makes me less resistant to just opening me up. Gets me in trouble, actually. So.
Yes, note to self.
No.
Anyway,
while you're typing out about the differences, Andrew, I'm going to start on stanza 14. So.
Yes.
Ule ek vod of Rolvi at ins vrode fjalas vi ed ulde bast at after of heimtre where sit get guni. Drunk I was dead drunk. When with fjala wise I was. 'Tis the best of drinking, if back one brings his wisdom with him home. Now this is just simple.
Well, I would think.
Don't get piss drunk.
Although honestly, mine is slightly different. It still, translates to about the same thing, but it's drunk I was over drunk at that cunning fjallars. It's the best drunkenness when everyone after it regains his reason.
Yeah, in other words, don't get drunk enough that you don't have your basic reasoning.
Right. Don't lose your faculties.
No.
But, come on, let's be honest. Everything's supposed to be taken in moderation, including moderation.
I'm just raising my eyebrow at you.
Are you now? Why? Because you know I'm right.
Of course, the low keen would say that.
Of course. And, well, you claim thy vaunted resistance to alcohol. So you probably have never been drunk, but I guarantee 99.9% of most people have been at one point in time or another and regretted it. So, yeah.
I was drunk once and you know the incident.
Mm-hmm. Even with your vaunted tolerance. Happens. Happens to the best of us.
The drink that I'm not allowed to touch.
Freaking potato drinks, anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So, really, magician? Huh. You see, people don't generally invite you over toward that kind of thing.
That's a shame.
Yeah. I said, there's sometimes you just need to essentially go, screw it. I need to lose my mind for a while.
It's a bit warm at the moment.
Are you? Quite pleasant over here.
Lucky.
Mm-hmm.
It's currently 22C.
I'm sure you could sense the smirk. Anyway.
It's currently 22C.
It was 20C last I checked here. You're calling 22 warm?
It's dark
okay.
here.
Okay. As probably warmer in the house than outside anyway, but...
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Oh, okay. So for stanza 14, we have a version that essentially says the best ale being the ale feast when a man calls back his wits instantly. So it is a similar idea, sounds like.
Yeah.
When you recover and you're not so drunk, you're just lagging, you know?
In other words, drink, but don't drink enough. Don't drink too much, that the fact that it doesn't allow you to use your wits when you need them.
I'll drink as much as I want.
Really?
Uh-huh. Anyway, maybe we should move on to stanza 15.
Yes. Stanza 15. Fagalt och hugalt, skilifjordons barn, och vigdjaft vera, glada och rifa, skiligumna ver, unsin bederbana. Yeah, exactly, Andrew. And so, the translation of 15 is, the son of a king shall be silent and wise and bold in battle as well. Bravely and gladly a man shall go to the day his death is come.
Okay, mine's actually pretty similar here. Taciturn and prudent, and in war daring, should a king's children be. Joyous and generous everyone should be until his hour of death. Wait, so you mean until the hour of your death? You know, it's all right. You got to be cool. But, you know, once that hour arrives, man, all bets are off.
Don't forget. So here's a cultural and historical context. The hour before your death, you were likely fighting.
I don't know. I think I'd be pretty upset knowing I was going into a battle just a little bit before going into that battle. So, just saying.
Cultural difference.
Well, I don't know. I guess probably me with enough drink, I'd be all right. But still.
Phone, behave, please. There we go.
This theme of silent wisdom and not losing one's senses and being in control seems to be a pretty strong theme throughout most of these. Interesting. A little repetitive, but interesting.
Mm-hmm.
All right, thank you, Andrew. So that
it's the same line. It's the same thing.
Yeah. Very similar.
Just a note: we're going to the hour with this because art sessions are normally an hour long-ish.
Right. So we'll go through however many we get through in an hour or so.
My voice starts to go after a bit.
Sure.
Okay. Especially as I forgot how meant to go. Okay, stanza 16. Osnyala mada higis munu eilifa efhana vid vigvaras en eli gefer hanum engfried fot hanum gira gefi. The sluggard believes he shall live forever, if the fight he faces not, but age shall not grant him the gift of peace, though spears may spare his life. In other words, the coward believes that he'll live forever. I think sluggard here is coward, essentially.
Which is interesting because that usually doesn't mean coward. It means lazy, really, to me.
Yes, but in this case, cultural context.
Well, yeah, maybe.
In this
they were thought to be lazy, perhaps.
In this context, lazy is synonymous with coward.
Perhaps. The translation I have, he translates it as, a cowardly man thinks he will ever live if warfare he avoids, but old age will give him no peace, though spears may spare him. Now, this is one I've actually seen quoted a fair bit here and there, various groups and the like on Facebook. But, yeah, all right. I mean, it seems pretty clear cut, if you ask me. So, if you're going to run from the fight, run from the battle, you think you're going to live forever? You might, but you're still going to have no peace at all. Yeah.
And now, is that just no peace because mentally you'll know you're a coward, or is that no peace because people are going to take the piss out of you?
Mm-hmm. I figure, life's life. It's going to find a way.
Mm-hmm.
So you might as well face up and
grow hair.
Basically. Because you're not going to win anyway.
So with that translation, also my assertion of synonymity with coward and sluggard. Yeah, I was right.
Perhaps.
Because I have heard more translations with coward than I have with sluggard.
Mm-hmm. So. Right. Andrew brings up the quote, the old saying, never run from a fight, you'll just die tired. Yeah, I tend to concur. That's a pretty apt summation.
So, Chris, we were talking about the stanza that is essentially, the sluggard believes he shall live forever if the fight he faces not. Age shall not grant him the gift of peace, though spears may spare his life. We were discussing that one.
Mm-hmm. And how one of the differences I have actually says, a cowardly man thinks he will ever live if warfare he avoids. But we figured the translation's actually pretty similar in that it's just saying, hey, look, don't run from the fight. Because you're not going to be spared no matter what. Yeah. And I was pointing out life tends to find a way. So.
Mm-hmm. I will note, by the way, this is the most interaction we've had in chat for a while.
Thanks, Chris.
Feathers.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this is the most people we've had actually interacting in the chat.
Yeah, this is great.
We had no one last time, which was sad.
Yeah, we had a few watching.
Yeah.
We're glad to see y'all interacting. And
see, this is what we were
very happy to see the differences.
This is what we wanted when we first started the Hávamál discussions, is people coming in and interacting and chatting along.
Mm-hmm. Meant to be a discussion and interpretation, not just of our feelings on the matter, but everybody's. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The more the better. Exactly. We've said it before, but in Norse paganism, Asatru, however you want to describe it, there really is no one true way to do it. If anybody's telling you, no, this has got to be exactly what it means, exactly this. Yeah, it's... And I'll be blunt, that's just wrong. To me, this path is one of the most personal. It is one of the more interpretable. Because we don't really have any good, solid, concrete takes on what they meant and how they meant it. So it's interesting to me that we can read these and still put a very valid take on them today. They ring true no matter how many thousands of years.
And here's the thing, the multiple different translations is due to the fact that of the scholars of Old Norse who are trying to translate it and trying to understand what each word means, grammatical structure, etc., they each have a slightly different interpretation on it. Mm-hmm. Because there's no solid records of this meant that.
So what the intent is to invite people to just think about it and what they mean to them.
Yes,
exactly.
Read the path with homework.
Mm-hmm.
You see, it's perfect for me, as I'm very much the scholarly type.
Very true. Also, Chris, it's hard to find a non-Christian translation. Yeah.
Yep.
Unfortunately,
but to the same
they became so intermingled.
People need to remember they can take those Christian translations, and did they do their research and understand the culture at the time, they'll be able to take that veneer of Abrahamic faith off it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I understand the desire to do so, but how can we truly?
I didn't say completely, but the veneer, the basic veneer, you can remove.
To an extent, maybe.
A clear example with some texts, the demonization of Loki, which I know is close to your heart.
Pet peeves, let's just say. People tend to very easily forget that as a key point. There really wasn't the same concept of good and evil that we had. But we digress.
No, I think this is still a pertinent discussion.
All right.
I don't think this is a digression. I think this is a pertinent discussion because we need to remember when reading texts like this, and then once we're doing the Hávamál, we're going to move on to the Völuspá. So we need to remember that, yes, there may be a slight Christianization, but more than slight in some cases, Christianization to some texts, but they're still useful. You just need to know, you need to have an understanding to understand.
Right. We need to understand the culture in order to be able to see through a little bit of that, or as much as we can, given what we have.
But you see, Chris, translations is a different story, yes. If you can find someone who is more neutral religiously, yes.
And Chris, I'd wonder how old that translation is, whether or not there was a more modern one done by a non-Christian more recently, or...
You see, that's if I was looking at translations, as Laura was saying, I would balance between going with the non-Christian translation and the more modern one because of the advances in the understanding of Old Norse within the past 5 years or so.
But either way, I would still argue that they are pertinent today, but no matter how much we try, even if we study and understand as much as we can, we're still going to be putting our own modern interpretation upon the words we're reading. And that's true with anything.
Fair enough. And that's the reason we have multiple separate translations of the same verse. Flipping heck, there is... Yep, correct. They are... example from Eastern culture. If I'm breaking up, by the way, Pete, just please bear with. Eastern culture, the concept of yin and yang. There's no duality there. They're one because there's a bit of good in the evil and a bit of evil in the good. But we would start digressing if I started talking about good and evil, chaos and order, and everything. We'd be here for a very long time. So.
Yes, we would. But anyway, that's, definitely correct from what I understand of the Eastern cultures. And to me, it's always been a matter of interpretation and where you're standing on a situation. I can see one thing is good. Somebody can see that as completely different. And to them it's bad, but to me it was good.
Exactly.
And the world is not black and white like that.
It's many shades of grey. And we'll end it at that.
Mm-hmm. And grey, I argue, is very necessary to life.
Mm-hmm. We can go back to this discussion after the next stand.
Oh, yeah.
So,
sure.
Stand 17. Kope afglabi til kynnes kenner. Fylisk hon ödra thrumer. Odd sen hon silg of geta. Upi far get guma. The fool is agape when he comes to the feast. He stammers or else is still. But soon if he gets a drink it is seen what the mind of the man is like.
Interesting. Mine's very similar this time around. A fool gapes when to a house he comes. To himself mutters or is silent. But all at once, if he gets drink, then is the man's mind displayed.
In other words, when people...
So that's... Go ahead.
In other words, when people drink, they tend to run the fucking mouth.
I was going to say you see who they truly are and how they really think. Commonality. It's called the truth serum for a reason.
Mm-hmm. Chris, that is correct. Yes.
So basically, if you want to know somebody, get them drunk.
Mm-hmm. Late night reenactment.
Never happens. Not at all.
Fair enough.
Interesting. Andrew, it also says that when he goes to a friend. All right.
But, yeah.
We both had slightly different.
This is another warning of drinking too much. Essentially. Makes me chuckle as much as there's many depictions of northern cultures drinking a lot.
Yeah. Exactly. I don't know about that, Chris. Very few people are the same person drunk or sober on or off Facebook. That's a very rare person. Yep. Exactly.
Yep, because people...
In the moment, the mind of that man is shown. Yep.
Because people's inhibitions...
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly. You see who they truly are. It's going to be a lot of fun, but sometimes you regret it.
Yes. Chris, as to your good and evil comment, that is correct, because the first instances of the true duality of good and evil appeared after the advent of Christianity. But, yeah.
Now, I'd have to look into this, but it seems to me, at least, that duality, that idea of concept of a split between the good and evil and dark and light were kind of an older idea than Christianity, but I'd be hard-pressed to come up with any...
Well, I meant in its current form. It's definitely a Christian concept.
Support for that right off the top.
No, some of it existed in ancient Greece to a degree.
Okay.
And in the Hellenic traditions.
I wonder if that carried over into the Roman as well.
To a degree. It's complex. I would have to look it up myself, but as far as I remember.
Okay.
Okay.
So yeah, that's why I'd have to do some looking myself, but...
18.
No, I agree, Andrew. I don't like the good and evil idea, because there is just too much interpretation that should be put on anything, an act or an event, you know?
Shades of grey, ladies and gentlemen. Shades of grey.
Yeah,
and
I mean, like, really...
And everyone's shades are different.
We each determine what's good or bad. And that's how it should be, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. And everyone's shades are different.
Mm-hmm. Everyone's experience is different.
Yes, exactly. Nature isn't duality. Nature is grey. Nature is inherently order and chaos in one.
Survival. Name of the game.
Well, bringing it down beyond the concepts of survival and stuff like that, nature is inherently order and chaos combined.
Mm-hmm.
Because
it's a blend. Some things are order, some things are chaotic.
Well, it's order because of the way the cells is constructed to for example, for a human.
Well, if you look at the ecosystems themselves,
they're order, yes.
They have a very specific role. Some of them have very specific niche they play, but the players within said role can be very chaotic.
But to the same degree, look at a tornado, look at a hurricane, look at just a simple storm, not even something as extreme. They're chaos.
Power.
Power.
Well, and a lot of that is failing on many levels to respect that power and understand that it's going to be that powerful, and perhaps you simply don't want to be there at that point in time. Maybe don't build on that cliffside.
Maybe don't build on that riverbank.
Because nature is going to do what nature does, and nature doesn't care if you're in the way. Yeah. It's nothing personal. But it's power.
She is what she is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're getting into the interesting conversations tonight. How do we get that from stanza 17 here?
I don't know. We can keep this conversation going until the hour if you want, people.
I think we're at a good point, because for me, at least, that's the end of the page. So,
well, I've got 3 stanzas left on my page, 18, 19, and 20.
Mine stopped at 17, because, well, I guess it's called the Pocket Hávamál for a reason.
Mm-hmm. You see, yes, you are correct there, Chris, about between living dangerously and being stupid. Living dangerously is living in such a way that could be potentially dangerous, but at the same time having the wisdom to know when there is a stage where you're going to do something between over the line of fun and dangerous to stupid and going to get yourself killed.
Right. Or there's just willful ignorance and turning a blind eye to the fact that what you're doing is dangerous. I get you, Chris. I'm ADD myself, so.
Yes, you have me reminding you of the line.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I do. Precisely, Yeah, okay, the rock may have caused the river to bend around it for a time, but still it's not going to stop the water.
Yep, exactly. And that could be interpreted in a more grander concept of you can't stop the flow of time. You can't stop the flow of nature.
Well, as a Doctor Who fan.
Let's not get into wibbly wobbly timey-wimey stuff.
Oh, let's.
We're going off the discussion subject even further than we are.
And besides, thank you, BBC and all that. So, yeah.
We've got complete. This may be worth another bloody talk show, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, I know. Our own podcast or something here. Oh.
Might actually set something like that up.
Might not be a bad idea. What y'all think?
Chris is laughing.
I noted. Yeah, they are. Podcasts are fun. And Andrew, I see what you're saying, but you know what?
Sometimes you
I'm too stubborn for that.
Sometimes you have to take the C4 to that rock in front of you and fucking blow it up.
Precisely.
And I've not got the patience of a river to wear away of it for hundreds of years.
And at that, you have more patience than I.
Mm-hmm. Laura here is likely to pick up the rock and throw it out of the way. Not even blow it up.
Precisely.
Launch it out of the way.
And then drop a sarcasm bomb like, oh, silly rock. Did you think you were going to get in my way?
That was good.
Well, you, Tom, have a habit of blowing right past the rock and waving at it as you go on by, like, oh, did you think you were going to stop me? See ya.
Yes.
Yeah. Patience, nurse, pun. Ha.
Yeah, Andrew, that's about. If not, if I can't find a way around it, yeah, they just blow it the fuck up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very EOD. Typo Fey indeed. Must be akin to Murphy in some way, I swear. But it's just rather interesting to see the different takes and philosophies here on obstacles.
Mm-hmm. We've presented about 4 separate philosophies so far on obstacles. Ooh, 7-year-old twins.
I can only imagine, Chris.
My baby brother's 10.
I imagine a nice big one, too. There you go.
Yeah, the crown prince of Hrafnfjall is 10. They're paying my bloody ass at the moment.
Well, dang, I feel like a youngin'.
I'm definitely a
37.
24. I am youngin', but it feels like I am.
Yeah, you are. You're an honorary 40-year-old, I swear.
Oh, cool. That's full name.
Yeah. Zelda's a good name.
Yeah, we went completely off track, by the way, folks.
No kidding.
I'm gonna do one more. I'm gonna do one more stanza. Silence. Okay, stanza 18. Så en vet vidarata och heffe fjollet of farid. Ver you gedi styrir gumna ver, so vitandi ervids. So that translates to, he alone is aware who has wandered wide, and far abroad has fared, how great a mind is guided by him that wealth of wisdom has.
All right. That was stanza 18. Wow. Seems like mine's a little bit different here. Okay. He alone knows who wanders wide and has much experience, by what disposition each man is ruled who common sense possesses.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, for mine, the way this is written, I can interpret it a couple of ways. As in, he alone knows who wanders wide. So, the only person who understands this is the one who has wandered wide. Or, he being alone has learned this. Or he knows this alone, even. So it seems to me there's a couple of different takes on that, based on how mine is written. Yeah. But if I were to hazard a rough thought on what that meant, it would be something along the lines of, if you wander and interact with a lot of different people, a lot of different cultures, you're going to be able to figure out pretty quick who's got some common sense and what kind of people they are. Okay, so Chris, you say the translation you pulled up is a little bit different, but would you essentially say it's kind of got a similar theme to that? Or does this just widely vary?
Sorry about the Velcro sounds and people. I need to put my race on from my hand.
Yeah, so stanza 18 seems to have quite a variety of interpretations here.
It seems so.
Translations and interpretations. So, Yeah, I mean, as we have been talking, a lot of it does depend on the translation and the reader. So here we have it. Perfect form. Perfect example.
Yeah, and it could, by each translation, it could have a slightly different meaning, a slightly different interpretation.
Which makes sense. So, yeah.
Aye, but just the number 3 you showed us, Andrew, and comparing it to the translation I'm using, the translation Dora was using.
Okay. So the Old Norse and then 3 separate translations, and 2 of them matched, and then one was different. Interesting. So 18, 18 definitely seems to have some wide variation here.
Yeah. Right, as it's 5 minutes to the hour.
If you were to hazard an a summation, Tom, what would you... So Chris thinks it talks about the character of one who's level-headed. Interesting.
You see, my thinking is talking about level-headedness to a degree, yes, but also about someone who's well-travelled and learned, essentially. But not book-learned. Experience-learned. They've gone to places, they've learned, and that gives a nod to the multiculturalism that the Scandinavian traders specifically sort of fostered.
Yes. Very good point. And let's talk about that for a minute. So, we're at stanza 18, and throughout this point, you hear a common theme of traveling and interacting with various people and having common sense among those peoples when you do. Quite frankly, seems to me, if the Norse were not a well-traveled and well-interacted people who had experience with a wide variety of different cultures and appreciated and respected them, they would not hereby be saying, this is how you should do so and how you should comport yourself when interacting with those cultures.
Yeah, because the advice here isn't just for advice for interactions within their own society.
No, there have been at least a couple instances, that one including where it mentions specifically being widely traveled and interacting and learning the people and their disposition. So, wit is needful to him who travels far. At home, all is easy. That's stanza 5. Clearly, they traveled.
Yeah, exactly, Andrew. But you see, it's a case of there's been a couple of other stanzas that have essentially said how to, as Laura said, how to comport yourself when you travel.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I agree, Andrew. You need knowledge is knowing what you've read.
Oh, yeah. So basically, even there was stanza 5, which I read earlier, and now stanza 10. A better burden no man bears on the road than much good sense. That is thought better than riches in a strange place. Such is the recourse of the indigent. Yes, it says, keep your good sense among you. But they traveled. They interacted with different cultures. Else, why have advice like that? And exactly, Chris. It seems to me the Hávamál is exactly rather long treatise and not being an ass.
Exactly. That's why our rule for Hrafnfjall is essentially the primary rule is don't be a dick.
Bottom line. Mm-hmm.
But yes, Andrew, exactly. So knowledge is knowing what you've read in the book. Wisdom is being able to take that knowledge and apply it.
Mm-hmm. The knowing a tomato is a fruit, but wisdom is knowing not to put it in a fruit salad. Comparison, yeah. Exactly. So.
Another one I've actually heard.
Chris, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, considering who was alleged to be the words behind this, yeah. I think that happened a fair bit. He was taken by some pretty eyes.
Another one I've heard in comparison to the tomato and fruit salad one is knowledge is knowing honey is bee puke, but wisdom is knowing that you can use it for both food and for healing. Mm-hmm. A weird one I've heard. Yes, don't ask me where I heard it, 'cause I can't remember.
True. Shrug.
Sort of the inverse of tomato and fruit salad, because it's like knowing it can be used for more than one thing, even though it's really speaking. For note, I love honey, I love mead. So.
Yeah, you can't help but love honey if you love mead.
Honey's good on sandwich as well. That's a good with rice pudding. And on a bagel.
Twitch. No, thank you. I'll put it in tea, and that's about it.
That's a good in tea and in coffee.
Or bake with it. I bake with honey. I like it. Bacon with.
I've had it in coffee as well. I've run me right out of sugar. I've also had honey cake, which is really nice.
That I actually have not had. So.
It's sticky as hell, though.
You think? That doesn't shock me at all.
Okay, gents.
Yep. We have completely digressed yet again.
Any last questions or comments before we close the stream?
Thank you for putting up with our randomness and trains of thought and digressions, but I hope it was beneficial and I hope you enjoyed.
And we may have a think about doing a bit of a discussion podcast.
Yeah, I think actually that's not a bad thought. We'll consider a podcast. Just to digress and, talk about a whole variety of Norse-related topics.
Well, not just Norse-related topics, just general philosophy and chitter about. Because our discussion about good and evil wasn't just Norse-related. It was Eastern philosophy versus Western philosophy versus pre-Christian versus Christianized. Yeah. And Chris, honey cake. Sticky honey cake. Divine stuff.
Though this guy handed him anything sweet.
Lies. No, seriously, lies. I have to be decent.
Sure.
No, seriously, I will tell you, no, it's not decent.
Sure.
Oh, hush.
I'm just because I haven't seen you yet.
It's happened a couple of times.
I swear you are seriously one of the few people I know who actually could survive on pretty much meat alone.
Mead is a full drink of nutrients.
Give me my Guinness or my Jameson any day. Thank you very much.
Not enough nutrients in them.
Nah. Who says I survived on that alone? There's more to life than that. Albeit. That is good. All right.
Anyways. Thank you for coming along to discuss, gents. And we will see
yes, it's been a pleasure.
Next time.
Don't forget to like the channel if you appreciated this, and check out our links, which will be posted in comments and will be in the description if you're watching this.
And don't forget to subscribe
after the live version. And yes.